Here's an old dinette that we saw at an estate sale this weekend. And then I thought this was just a photo, but it's a spice rack. Hello. As November comes to a close, November 2023, I thought that it might be nice to travel back in time and go to November 1965 and look at this Women's Day, 15 cents. As they were approaching the holiday season, there were 100 Christmas gifts with complete instructions in the making in this magazine. These are some of them. How to decorate with wallpaper, how to bake 5 great holiday cakes, and of course, how to meet fascinating people. So here we have 4 characters from Alice in Wonderland. The White Rabbit is also in here, the instructions to make him. But here we have the March Hare, the host of the tea party. The Mad Hatter with his 10/6 card in his hat, 10 shillings, 6 pence. Alice and the Dormouse. And this is an illustration from the novel way back in the 1800s. Curious to see this, how to decorate with wallpaper. I have already seen it, and they are talking about putting it on your walls. I'm going to make a little segue here and show you a roll of wallpaper that was made in the USA. I don't think this is from the 60s. I think it's probably from the 1930s or the 1940s. Actually, I bought this from an estate sale. It was on the walls of the house that we were in, and I thought it was so pretty. I need to figure out something to do with it, though. It was only $1. And I really believe that it was the kind of thing that might have gotten thrown away as they were cleaning that house out, so I had to have it. Anyway, that's my wallpaper story. Nice and Easy by Clairol. The closer he gets, the better you look. New. Nice and Easy was new. Was that the year it was invented, I wonder? This was an exciting opportunity for every woman who loves to hear, where did you ever learn to cook like this? Well, possibly you could get 3 of these cookbooks from the Cookbook Guild. Fill this little card out. It looks like they'd give you a set of bookends, and they had menus for entertaining, 365 ways to cook hamburger, a shellfish cookbook, desserts, casseroles, the Boston Cooking School. You could pick 3 of them, choose 3 of them for $1.89. The table of contents. And here's Betty Crocker. Flatware. Looks like they were in conjunction with Oneida back then. So what could you get? A 5-piece place setting. So, knife, fork, 2 forks, a dinner fork and a salad fork, a soup spoon, and a teaspoon. You could get the twin star, My Rose, Winsome, and Enchantment. Oh, you were sending this to General Mills. So for $2, you could get that. Actually, these are $2.25. This is discounted because they were apparently $6 in the store. Lady Electric Moisturizing Pre-Electric Shave. Oh, look at that aerosol bottle. It was new. Just spray it on your, to shave your legs smoother and closer. Here are little items that readers wrote in. Somebody wrote in about, instead of giving a neighbor baby gifts who already had 5 children and was expecting their 6th, the neighbors banded together and gave the mother coupons to be used in the future for things like a meal prepared or child care instead of a gift for the new baby. That kind of time was a gift for the new baby, time with the mother. I've never seen one of these, and I see a lot of old cookware in my estate sale hobby. It was a Corningware dish that had a removable handle. Well, it was a frying pan, and you could remove the handle to use it as a serving dish. Either that or I've seen it and never realized that the handle came off. It says it just snapped off. It's a new one on me. St. Joseph aspirin. Oh, this guy's sick. Give your child the children's aspirin more doctors recommend than any other. This is a story about the simple things in life and enjoying them as we go into winter, taking a walk down a country lane, and again, just enjoying the simple things in life, listening to the leaves rustle, and just the sounds of everyday life, smelling maybe leaves burning, or someone lighting an outdoor fire to keep warm if they're spending time outside. This is a story about a place in Pittsburgh, an automotive shop that opened its doors to the female population to teach them basic car mechanics, powder puff mechanics. They would teach them how to change tires, close a choke, I don't even know what that is, check and clean battery terminals, check and replace the coil wire, check your engine fluids. It's pretty cool. I've never heard of this vacuum. An electro-hygiene. Only the electro-hygiene gives you fresh air cleaning. I want one. But you would put these sanitizing and deodorizing crystals in this special compartment, and it would clean the air as you vacuumed. I don't think that it took off because I have never heard of it. And this is Women at the Wheel. It's an article that recurs in these magazines, and it has to do with cars and driving. But this particular one is keeping your distance, and it talks about the importance of not tailgating up, meaning riding too close to another car, and how that is the cause of a lot of car accidents. We see a lovely lady in a convertible, and she has a kerchief on and a scarf around her neck. And they cite all sorts of statistics given by the National Safety Council about those types of accidents. I love this ad. I guess Kraft at one time made a box of chocolates. The fancy candies come from Kraft. Now, 16 kinds of chocolates. And they have taken a fancy knife and cut one open. And they have all the chocolates in a fancy glass container. And there's the lid. I wonder when they stopped this. 16 different centers. Chocolates like you buy at a candy shop, but no, at the store. I'm sure they mean the grocery store. And these start right off with the patterns for the animals on the cover. Oh, and Alice too. And Mad Hatter. These are the different shapes for their bodies. Here's a new way to cook with Caro syrup. Caro fireside beans. A half cup Caro syrup. They used dark. Two 1 pound cans of pork and beans. So 2 pounds of beans, onion, ground ginger, and then you're placing Canadian bacon on the top. And my husband would absolutely love this. Doesn't look like the healthiest thing in the world. But if you live in a cold weather state, like I do, and you do a physical job, like my husband does, oftentimes in the wet, cold weather, it's nice to come home to a meal like that. Look what you can do with clean peaches and Miracle Whip. They've just put Miracle Whip with a fruit salad here. There's peaches, an avocado, some type of a section of a citrus fruit, and banana and lettuce. So Christmas was coming, and they have a couple ads in this magazine that are things that maybe you could buy for the children in your life. And this is an ad for Encyclopedia Americana. Want to read a good book? And this was $300, but you could make payments. This is something that has gone by the wayside. I'm in my 50s, so I mean, we had a set of encyclopedias. I can't remember what they were called. It was called Funk and something. But people aren't going to have this anymore. We all have smartphones and the internet. But this was $300, $10 down, and $10 a month thereafter. And then they also had a deluxe version that was more if you wanted to read into that. There's another encyclopedia offer in this magazine coming. Here's more of the pattern. And another book, Betty Crocker's Dinner in a Dash. 261 dinners in a dish. Oh, I made a dash, sorry. But this was only $1.95. There were other things too. And again, you were sending that to General Mills in Minnesota. Here's the Gerber ads. They were so cute. It's the same photo though. This is the black and white. And there's the color of Babe trying to tear off their sock. 2 happy protein hints. They had made some cookies with cinnamon and chicken sticks. Looked like little hot dogs. Babies are our business, our only business. They always gave some baby hints given by, in this case, it was Mrs. Dan Gerber, mother of 5, but sometimes it was other members of the Gerber family, baby experts. This is The Open Door by Faith Baldwin, who was an American author. And she had, for a very long time, this section in Women's Day, and she would give reflections of her life in Connecticut. This is a watercolor painting of an ancient mulberry tree that was on her grounds in Connecticut. My aunt was just mentioning how you don't see mulberry trees anymore. Well, I do. She doesn't realize, and I let her know. I have a huge one growing in behind my garage. There's a reason why people don't want them anymore. They are very messy. But my aunt, who's in her 70s, has a very fond memory as a child growing up, sitting on a fence where they could reach up and eat the mulberries, but they are very messy. They attract a lot of birds to my yard. My son has one growing in his yard too that, I hate to say it, but we're trying to get rid of it. But it definitely has the will to live. Here's another Kraft ad. Kraft Italian dressing, low calorie, with a Santa hat, a pilgrim's hat, but a tape measure. Who wants to measure their waist this time of year? I will keep you in shape during the holidays ahead. Well, we can try. So they had French blue cheese, low calorie though, chef-style dressing, and then a fruit and slaw dressing. What was chef-style, I wonder? And then the Italian, I wonder. I should look that up. I might not be able to find it. Here's Dinty Moore beef stew, before and after. Looks good. This was another section in the old women's days, in case anybody had taken up the hobby of looking for antiques. This features small items from the past. Let's say this was a century ago during 1965, so maybe the 1800s, middle, of little household items that are collectible because they're no longer used. These are little butter pat plates. They're also called patties, a bone dish, a teacup, but this one had no handle, and you would pour the tea to cool it in the deeper dish and then pour it back to drink it. A mustache cup for people with mustaches, a hat pin holder, a knife rest, inkwells. This is continued on the next page. This is a Morton Salt ad. I love the photo here. It's an old-timey photo. The little girl's drinking milk out of I'm assuming it's milk out of a mason jar, eating a hard-boiled egg in what looks like a one-room schoolhouse with a pretty plant. Somebody's mother designed the first disposable salt shaker. Looks like she has some salt just barely in some paper, but Morton's was selling their new product, these little teeny tiny, cute little salt shakers. Dormouse was a popular lotion back then. I don't think they make it anymore. And this was special though. Now these Danish candle holders appraise for $6, but you could get them for $2.50 a pair if you clipped the coupon and probably send a proof of purchase for the lotion. But you could flip them over and they were actually two different types of candle holders. Here's the continuation of our antique story with the patty dishes. And here's the Book of Knowledge. I think my neighbors had this one. And here are these kids. It's Christmas morning. They have their red pajamas on. And there's wrapping paper all over. And look how happy they are with their encyclopedias. This was, you got some stuff free. It doesn't give any information about the price, but you're to fill in, there are blank children in my family ages, and then they give you this little line. I think you're just sending away for the information on the books on that. I don't see a price anywhere. Look at this wonderful Ready Whip ad. Pie Jinx. Angel pie. Oh, that's this one. Tap your favorite lemon pie with Ready Whip with grated orange rind. Brownie pie. You could bake brownie mix in a pie pan. Cut it in wedges. That's easy enough. And top it with Ready Whip. And of course, country pumpkin. Stir pecans into your pumpkin pie filling and top with Ready Whip. I love that. It looks handwritten. It's a wonderful ad. Only a half page though. Some more bone dishes. This is a Welch's grape juice ad. Wonderful old idea. Serve Welch's grape juice with your turkey. It does look good. And they've put it in a wine glass. Here comes one of my favorite ads in this magazine. But first, I want this pan. I have to look for one of these little pans at a sale. We're going to one today. West Bend no stick pans. They give you an extra scrambled egg. And that's true because I think now that it's winter, I'll make scrambled eggs. We'll have breakfast for dinner one day a week. And the pan that I've been using, I do think that there's literally a whole egg stuck to it, even though I try not to get it to stick. I'm sure that coating will have worn off 58 years later, but it's a good ad. Get a whole extra egg, so we have more teacups and an inkstand. But here's the ad that I loved. They have like an optical illusion. Dig our dizzy peas and corn. Libby's peas and Libby's corn. What a great ad. It's a girl's world. The Going Out Breakout. This was by Susan Bennett Holmes. The drawings are always so wonderful. We see this young couple here. They look very studious, but I don't think she's got studying on her mind. She's in love. They're going to class. And they talk about dating and going to school together. One date and you're going steady, whether you want it or not. Sound familiar? It should, because it's the most common dating dilemma. Here's a Hanes ad. The great leg, as Hanes sees it. Take a puff on little cigar. The new nylon shade cribbed from the color of young tobacco leaves. Can't see the lady's face. It's a shadow. Is she on top of a building? And then there's this Washington, D.C. in the background? I don't get it. But anyway, it's a Hanes ad. Reynolds Wrap for your turkey. We're probably all turkeyed out. They're using Kellogg's Cruet stuffing. And then they also have mincemeat down here to mix with the stuffing. I don't know. These are the continuation of our dating story. Boy taking the girl for granted. Boy taking the girl no place new. That doesn't sound fun. And then, don't do this. Boy talks about girl. Don't do that. Chiquita, that's a good ad. Chiquita banana, and it's just peeled. The sign of a successful banana. That's wonderful. Okay, we've got this young couple here with their carpets and their shelves. When I was younger, let's say I was a little girl, if my mom would have had this magazine, I would have sat and studied every item on these shelves. And I would have loved that chair. Morticia Adams chair. They're called a peacock chair, aren't they? So anyway, this is a Bigelow carpet ad. Mike Sasanoff is a talented young TV technician. Income $8,500 a year. Now, the lovely Rose here, wife, Rose Sasanoff, decorated this lovely room around a Bigelow. And look at all the colors that came in. This color was called Bonnie Glen. And here are the gifts. There's the White Rabbit with his pocket watch. He's cute. And all the little dolls. This was Annie. Well, it's the same doll, isn't it? It's the outfits. Pajamas, a little, maybe a going out outfit, school, play, and going to the beach. How adorable. And they're going to give us the instructions to make all of this. I think that maybe if you got this, you would start maybe preparing for the next year, because this is only November. People had more time on their hands, maybe not. They had a tie silk shell, a wraparound hostess skirt. It's made of textured wool. Yes, that's silk. This is two things. The knitted stole made of mohair, a mohair blend. The Irish lace jacket. That's cotton crocheted in squares. It would take me forever to make any of this. An evening shawl. Wool and nylon and mohair. How pretty. And I love that. A flowered kerchief. It has a green net base and then velvet ties. A cotton tote. A felt-lined jewel case. A silk organza jabot. I might be able to make that. And a silk scarf hat. So lovely. And the polka dots. An evening sweater of mohair again, a mohair blend. And look at this dress. Isn't that great? They're calling that a Grecian dress. And of course it's made of crepe. 13 is a festive apron. It doesn't say what it's made of, but it's probably cotton. 14, shopping bag. Oh, isn't that beautiful? A cotton upholstery fabric. Yes, you can tell. I might be able to make that. I love this. Velveteen capelet. A paisley kerchief. And a crib cover. Oh, how cute. That's adorable. I'll go back and talk about estate sales for a moment. I see so many things that people have made. Some of them are decades, years old. And I think of the work and time that often went into some of these things. So here we get more into maybe woodworking and not crocheting or sewing. They have a plant holder. It's made of like these brass strips and wood. a spice cabinet, a lantern, an umbrella stand. I want that. If I had the right tools, I might be able to make that. Maybe. A double cutting board. Has a removable top when meat is sliced. The juices will flow into the second section. You can clean it out. A miniature chest. A tea tray. I would want that too. And a leather covered chest. Here's that lamp. I knew I had seen something with brass. Probably pipes. So that's a lamp base that you could make for somebody. An oriental chest. A rooster, just for decorating. A lyre-shaped wall planter. A tea caddy. What is that made of? This is made to resemble a design used in the 18th century when tea was precious. It's made of crown molding with an enamel finish. Isn't that clever? An oval chopping block. Oh, I want that too. I need that. A miniature commode is a small-scale reproduction of an early American piece. Bookends made like houses, and I want this too. Just a little cabinet to put something precious in. I think these are all things that no, that's sewed, but a lot of it's knitting or crocheting. The canary pullover, acrylic and mohair. This is a plaid wool robe. That looks very cozy. Number 3 is a mohair t-shirt. Cable pullover. This is for children. Striped muffler. A pom-pom cap to match. A pullover vest. Look at these knitted stockings. I want that. I can crochet, I can't knit. Plaid slippers. An open-ended stocking cap. Wow. And laced slipper socks. Then we have the patterns for all of these. A deep V-neck cardigan, that's for boys. Oh, anybody could wear it. Needlepoint pillows. A sports pullover, they're calling that, with a tie. Mohair mittens. I want that. Another needlepoint pillow. And a nice, cozy crochet afghan. Now, when I say I can crochet, it has to be little things. And they can't be too complicated. If I sat and tried, I probably could do it, but... So here we have some toys. The Gingham twins, aren't they cute? They have button eyes and yarn hair. And a nursery ball. What's that made of? It's just made of cloth. A wagon pull toy. Giant ladybug is next. A painting smuck. Oh, that looks nice. You could put all of your paint brushes and your paints in there. The Santa shoe bag. Schoolhouse blackboard and somebody's written cat on there. A checked cap. A doll cradle. And a sleepyhead doll in a flannel nightgown. A polar bear cub. Knitted pot holders. And the riverboat toy chest. And a jacket and bonnet set. Nice poem. And a mom and a baby. Dad and child. Thanksgiving. I thank thee, Lord, for house and home and lands, possessions sweet. I thank thee more for friends who loving pause to greet me as we, moving onward, meet. I thank thee, Lord, for little children and the touch of tiny helpless hands which cling to mine in tender truthfulness, the sound of childish voices in the land, for birds and butterflies, for flowers, and I thank thee, Lord, for work, for toil and labor, the sweat of brow and well-earned rest, for sleep and wakefulness again, to here and now, for hope of future life and thou. But more than all, I thank thee, Lord, for love and power to laugh and weep with them who are on their way, rejoicing to go or pause beside the way, to vigil keep a moment by their dead who sleep, for house and home and friends and work and gift from above. I thank thee, Lord, but more than all, yea, more than all, I thank thee, Lord, that I love. It's very pretty. So we go from that beautiful sentiment to how to meet fascinating people. They give a full page photo of this young lady, and she's reading a book in the forest. And the gist of this article is to read more books and become more interesting yourself, maybe. Tired of everyone you know, wish you could meet more interesting people, then step into the enchanting world of books. Meet people you might never have known otherwise. You can laugh and weep with them, travel to distant lands, walk with a love by a wine-dark sea. And the paper now that's glossy here, and it becomes more newspapery a little. It becomes glossy again. Look at these photos. This is Johnny Lingo and the 8-Cow Wife by Patricia McGurr, and she was an American novelist. I think she wrote mostly mysteries. This is an interesting story. Brigham Young University made this into a short film, and it kind of speaks to the times. I'll describe it. The setting is in Polynesian island, and I'm assuming this is Johnny Lingo here. And he went to go find a wife, and at the time you would go to, on this island, the father of whichever girl you were interested in, and offer cows in trade. I'm just telling you what the story's about. And he found a girl that the dad says, I'm never going to be able to, I'm going to be saddled with this girl my whole life. She's not worth any cows. But Johnny Lingo offered 8 cows for this girl because that was unprecedented. Usually they were only worth 3. And it boosted the young lady's confidence so much to know that she was the 8-cow wife, that she blossomed into a beauty and a wonderful wife. And we'll turn the page on this one because that was kind of I had never heard of that. Probably for good reason, but it exists. And it might even be a true story, I don't know. This is a story on the Lincoln Center, which had just been built. So we have the State Theater, the Metropolitan Opera House, and the Philharmonic. Glass and marble. And isn't that a wonderful, it's almost like a painting. New York's cultural landmark. President Eisenhower dug the first hole in 1959. They needed an upgrade in New York. A lot of the Broadway landmarks at the time were getting very old. They were built in the 1800s, and they needed a cultural landmark, like it says, to keep up their reputation as the entertainment capital of the country. How to solve your decorating problems with wallpaper. Wow, look at that room. This is a scenic paper. I love wallpaper. I know it's not for everybody, but that's the scene. And it was a panoramic landscape taken from an old Chinese screen. Metal foil papers. So there it is in a room, and there it is close up. This is very Americano. It is a fruit bowl. What a lovely room. Symmetrical windows with two ferns, I think. Symmetrical candlesticks. It's lovely. Look at that bedroom. Lovely in blue. Floral pattern. It looks reminiscent to the one I got. I never know how to say that. I know it means fool the eye. They have a trellis there. No, a lattice. And they've made it look like a garden, haven't they? Kind of maybe a sitting room to have a meal. This is an architectural paper. It combines panels and borders to create this effect. Might look like wood trim, but it's not. It's just paper. And this is just grass cloth paper. A striped paper in a bedroom. Those blues and greens. And flocked paper. Like a foil background, and it might feel fuzzy on the top to add warmth and drama, I'll say. Look at that. Orange. And a chandelier. And a plant stand. I want all of these. I could never make them. They are so cute. It's toy animals to sew, and then beyond, it gets better. They have done needlepoint on each one of them. Little, in most cases, flowers, but maybe little patterns. Let's look at them. Hooper the owl. I love this one. Spotsworth the leopard. It kind of reminds me of a Reese's Pieces package. Buster the ram. Oh, Buster's cute. Burley the elephant. Humphrey the camel. Their faces are needle pointed too. Ratcliffe the rodent. Bushman the koala bear. Hopkins the rabbit. Purdy the cat. Pinkerton the pig. And last but not least, Linus the zebra. They are so cute. So there's another idea to make the bountiful All-American Thanksgiving Dinner 1965. What's on the menu? I don't think all of this is pictured. The mushroom consomme madeleine. I don't think it's on here. But the turkey is roast turkey, savory giblet stuffing, or giblet, brown gravy. I know I saw that. I loved this. Potato nests with yellow turnip balls. Candied yams, buttered broccoli, and Italian green beans. Buttered peas and onions. They have a lot of vegetables. Cider cranberry orange relish mold. Celery hearts and ripe olives. I think that's over there. Cantaloupe and watermelon pickles. steamed fig and date pudding. That's probably over there. And then they have different things to top it with. A hard sauce, maybe that has booze in it. A foamy sauce, whipped cream. Buttered rolls, fruit, nuts, and coffee. They've got a wallpaper in the background there too. A very traditional looking dining room. Here are our 5 great holiday cakes. And at least 2 of them are fruitcake, however you feel about fruitcake. These look pretty good. Light fruitcake with raisins, candied fruits, and peels. A candied fruitcake. Lean cake. Layer after layer of luscious fruit frosted goodness. I think it's still got some candied fruit in there. Look at this though. A pound cake, rich in butter and eggs, decorated with marzipan. What's this one? Orange rum cake on the fancy gold stand with a candle in the background. Now, these old women's days always have a little cookbook included, and in this month's, all of these items on this page, 37. So let's start off with number 1. Garlic almonds, apricot syrup for waffles, spiced mixed nuts. What were in those? Number order, but spiced mixed nuts they're sweet. So sugar, egg white, ginger, nutmeg, cinnamon, brandy flavoring, and then that's on mixed nuts. Somehow making that mixed together and baking it on a cookie sheet. Carrot pickle, pickled green beans, ginger tangerine marmalade, ooh, pimento jam, tomato apple jam, ooh, tutti frutti jam. That was winter pears, an orange, a can of pineapple, mint maraschino cherries, and then like lemon juice and sugar. Number 10, cereal snack. I think that had like alphabets. So alphabets, Tang, coconut, peanuts, and then mix it together. Kind of probably like making Rice Krispie treats maybe. But that's cereal snack. 11, that's the chocolate coated popcorn. Well, that's easy enough, isn't it? Number 12, caramel slices, yes. 13, chocolate peanut butter sticks. 14, fruit nut bar. 15, the festive walnut cake. 16, orange honey hard sauce. I have to confirm my suspicion. Hard sauce is like sauce to put on something that has like a cake or something, but the sauce would have booze in it. Let's make sure. Barbecue sauce. They must not have included that hard sauce in the book. The little book here, I couldn't find it. Anyway, let's move on to 17. So 17 is a holiday coffee cake. 18 is Christmas trees. Okay, aren't they pretty? How do you make those? Okay, so for the Christmas trees, these are Rice Krispie treats, I think. Marshmallows and Rice Krispies, but they have colored them and they've put in cinnamon drops and maraschino cherries. I wonder how that would work. I wonder. So number 19 is in this, and this is a cinnamon syrup. I think a lot of it is syrup made to put on waffles and pancakes, which sounds delicious. And that would be such a nice gift if you knew how to do such a thing. Plum sauce. Number 21 is that. It's Cherries Madagascar. I've got to find out what that is. The Cherries Madagascar. Used as a garnish or served as an accompaniment to poultry, pork, or veal. It's a pound of maraschino cherries, sugar, cider vinegar, cinnamon, allspice, and cloves. So kind of like a spicy cherry. I don't know about that now that I read it. I would eat it though. Cream de menthe cherries is number 22. 23. No, that was the cake up there, that walnut cake. And this is the steamed mincemeat pudding. I didn't think that was right. Look at that cake. So here we have some easy ones. Pickled lemon wedges, preserved oranges, and a gala spiced fruit, all canned things. Number 27. Oh, those are nice. Vanilla honey bubbles. Caraway cheddar cheese spread is the next, probably made with cream cheese. A homemade barbecue sauce. A relish, corn relish and peppers. A walnut fruit brioche. I loved this. 3 different types of coconut. The top one is grenadine. It's flavored coconuts. A tower of it. It's maybe to put on ice cream. Grenadine, almond, and cream de cocoa. I just love that. It looks like a Neapolitan ice cream. I can't think straight. Number 33, East India mix. It looks like a snack mix. Chocolate caramels. That's going into the candy dish, and they have fudge and peanut cookie balls and some different cookies over here. Poppy seed spice slices. I really got sidetracked on that. But I knew that was going to happen. Here's the Women's Day menus that they would have for every day of the week. They would even have beverages sometimes, and of course the dessert. The recipe of the month was rosemary lamb stew. Bringing up mother. I guess that maybe psychoanalysts was on the minds of a lot of maybe people in their 30s or their 40s. And this guy decided that since him and his wife they had already psychoanalyzed themselves, it was time to start in on mother. And she is writing this, Alice, the mother, from her perspective of how she doesn't feel that that's necessary, and maybe providing some commentary on how people didn't really, nobody that she knew anyway, did that back in her day. I guess whatever they want to do to each other is fine, but, maybe leave mom alone. And here's makeup magic for day and night. And they have for ivory skin and rosy skin. And they have a daytime and a nighttime tip for each. Rosy skin is healthy looking with natural blush at its prettiest, but it needs special accents to show off its glow, not make it appear ready. And then the ivory skin, you have to be careful because things can become mask-like looking if you use the wrong makeup. This is The Wonderful World of Birds by John K. Terrace. And he was from Philadelphia. If you've seen any of my other magazines that are older that I've read, he was oftentimes a contributor to these magazines, but he was an author. He was a naturalist, and he wrote many books about birds. And look at the lovely illustration here with the young man looking out his window at a bird feeding its babies in a nest in a tree. John writes this story about some of the habits of birds, and he talks about his experience when he was a young man with killdeers. Here's one pictured. They would nest in the ground, and if they, as kids, would chase them, these ground birds, such as killdeers, had a survival mechanism built into them, and I never knew about this, that they would pretend that they were injured. To, like a possum would play dead. It's a broken wing trick or a crippled bird act. And it was just an ancestral trait that these birds have bred into them that the tree nesting birds did not have. Birds that nest in trees do not usually feign injury. They more often pretend to be sick so as to attract attention away from a nest. Isn't that interesting? The caption of this says, "Their nest was in a wisteria vine. From the window I watched red feed the fuzzy pink young." We have Baltimore Oriole and a common tern photoed. Here's a continuation of the Lincoln Center story. We talk about an Arthur Miller play after the fall that was quite controversial that I never knew about. Arthur Miller's After the Fall, many felt offered an uncomfortably lifelike portrait of Marilyn Monroe, and it brings to question of taste. I'll have to read more about that. This is a great ad. New, different, delicious bisque of tomato soup. I would love that. It's brand new. So here are the instructions. Should you have been that industrious to create all of those Christmas gifts that we saw pictured? And here is Kraft home-cooked dinner, another Kraft ad, noodles Romanoff. My husband would desperately want this. But it looks like they're serving it with caviar, and look at this fancy coffee going in the background. New and noodle deep in gourmet sauce. The real thing, rich with sour cream. More instructions for art. Woodworking. Here's another great ad for Tupperware. Oh, this was back in their heyday. So we have some canned items here. Peas, beets, soup, peaches, and a ham. They're airtight fresh when you buy them, that's true. Keep them that way with Tupperware. And they have those same items pictured, but in Tupperware. Look at that pink Tupperware dish. Here's a veg-all chili recipe. Look at that wonderful pan. Chili with beans and a can of veg-all. I don't know about that. That would be very salty. For a free recipe book, You could send a veg-all label to the Larson Company in Green Bay, Wisconsin. They were calling this garden patch chili. We ate a lot of veg-all as kids, a lot. My mom never mixed it with canned chili. She never bought canned chili. She made chili. I love this ad too. Another Kraft ad. Kraft Old English slices. Sharp. And they've made this wonderful sandwich. Is Wednesday an anniversary? If you pack his lunch every day, make this treat, which a standout, a treat which my husband would cry if I said, "Here is your lunch." I don't pack him a lunch. He eats at work. Wow. With olives on top. I'm going to do that for his birthday. Not maybe with those meats. Now, we're getting a little adult here. It's a very suggestive ad. And, you know, it's a women's magazine. So we're going to have our women's products. Look at her little bow. This ad is for a Massengill product here. I won't say it. I'll just point it. These items here, in 65, were often used as birth control. You can read all about it like I have, because the pill was not as readily available as it is now, or any of the other options that we all have to use for contraception. How clean is clean? It's a great ad. It's a lot different than the other ads. Here's a Modest sanitary napkin ad. More patterns. And I love this. This was for Purina Dog Chow. Your dog says thanks for everything. And this was the Purina $100,000 Dog's Best Friend sweepstakes. Only dogs can enter and only dogs can win. I love this. You could win a 1966 Pontiac Catalina station wagon, 9-passenger. That'll fit everybody. Or you could win a 66 Catalina convertible, a full-length mink coat, colored TV, console with a radio, a boat, a dishwasher, a sewing machine, a DeWalt Power Shop. Is it photoed? Is it pictured? Everybody help me here. I don't, no, it's right there, I'm sorry. A billiard table, and a battery-operated Mustang Junior for kids. Now, you had to buy a bag of Purina Dog Chow, cut out that little circle, and print your dog's name here. Well, you could get a deluxe dog bed stuffed with $5,000. I think that's what I would want. I love that. Here are more patterns. Libby's pumpkin. What does it take to make the perfect pumpkin pie? That pretty plate helps. What a lovely ad. Libby's pumpkin and pie, Betty Crocker pie crust sticks. Your Dixie cups, a whole Thanksgiving dinner, and plates, and bowls, it looks like. Everything. A ham, turkey, all of your side dishes. Dixie cups and plates are a party from beginning to end. Save yourself some work in the kitchen. There's a Dermafresh hand lotion coupon for 8 cents. Look at the hands holding this magazine. Now look at this coupon. Get the idea? No offense, but in the fall, women's hands usually don't look their prettiest or feel their softest. French's mashed potatoes. They taste so good, many husbands think they're homemade. Were they flakes? Instant, yeah, so they were some kind of a dehydrated potato. We have more patterns, but at Christmas is coming, so we have an ad for Fisher-Price Toys. She looks happy. She got the Pop Goes the Weasel TV radio. We have Wobbles, the Fisher-Price cash register, the music box lacing shoe, Gabby Goofies, looks like it's little ducks that you pull, and a magnetic chug chug. East Aurora, New York, our world, our work is child's play. Here's another feminine product, but she's not worried. She has femmes and she's out walking her. It looks like he's maybe in some type of an Afghan dog. How to save yourself 76 miles of walking a year. In the 60s, in these ads in the magazines, they're always encouraging people to get a second line somewhere in the house so you don't have to walk around so much. And they did a study, and they put some pedometers on housewives to show just how many steps they were going to save if they get an extension phone. This is an Oil of Olay ad that I know what they are now because I look at enough old magazines, but they're made to look like an article. They always have some skincare consultant. They never picture the product though. Olay has changed their ads now. Pretty much the whole page is the product. Here is win a vacation for two to Acapulco, Mexico or Arizona via American Airlines. It says visit your Revere Wear store, which I never knew there was such a thing, during tea kettle time. And here's a bunch of the Revere Wear tea kettles. And you could enter this contest. It's interesting. Anison ad, like a doctor's prescription. I'm getting the female product ads, a tampon ad. Here's a good ad, a couple with the Eiffel Tower in the background. The Spirit of Grand Marnier. 80 proof. Wow. Paquin hand cream. Here's a Velveeta ad. Beautiful red ad for the holidays. Peas porridge hot, peas porridge cold, then they switch it up. Was A-OK in the days of old, but a modern child needs modern nutrition to become a physicist or mathematician. So Velveeta, I never knew that they had these two kids pictured on the package, full of health from milk. Look at the adorable sandwiches they've made with little olive eyes and carrots and whatever you could find to make eyes and nose and mouth. And the kids are dressed for Christmas. See the Andy Williams Show Monday nights on NBC TV. It says in very small print on the bottom of the photo. This magazine is basically a handbook for all those crafts. It's so wonderful. Okay. Chef Boyardee complete dinners. I never got to have one. Were they good? Somebody tell me. For compliments to the chefs. And so here's Peggy Gallagher and some chef, Hector. Must have been the Chef Boyardee. So now Peggy can serve a great spaghetti dinner every time thanks to this slow simmered sauce. They have lasagna, a spaghetti and meatball dinner, spaghetti. My mom never bought that. Here's Wakefield's frozen Alaska king crab. And like a salad with hard-boiled eggs. And what is this? Spruance bread mix. I too can spell spruance. Just add water to make bread. Eagle brand. Neufchâtel. It shows me right there how to say it. Cheese. Another great ad. It's so colorful. It's an M&M's ad, and they're showing us all the different goodies we could make. We could make easy party cookies with M&M's, or this is a good idea too. Dot them on your white cake, or put them on your brownies. That's what an M&M's package looked like then, and that's what M&M's look like, the different colors. All the old magazines that I've done videos on, or that I own, that I'm going to do videos on, I don't think I've ever seen an M&M's ad. More patterns. Rinse away shampoo and dandruff rinse. That's a new one on me. I've never heard of that. Contadina tomato sauce. And they have a beautiful spaghetti and meatballs dish. Old World tomato sauce. Thick but often bitter, but the New World tomato sauce is sweet but often thin. Contadina combines the two, and there's no trouble. The next few pages, and I'm going to look at all of it, are things that you could buy. Let's say you don't have time to make all those crafts. Don't worry, there were still things that you could buy, but in all these cases you had to send away for them. They have a little car Christmas tree. Isn't that cute? It was $1.50. Plug it into the cigarette lighter. Fur hat and coat set for a doll. It looks like they had a little purse too. A card table playhouse. All you needed was a card table. You could just throw that over it. Playhouse. Baby's first rocking horse. This was Doug's. Your name on your holiday labels. Life-size cardinals for your Christmas tree. Civil War bookends. Purse calendars. Golden knocker for your front door. An amaryllis bulb that would bloom into that beautiful flower. The Kennedy coin set. Just it there. A level or a tape measure with somebody's initials put on it. It makes me think of my grandpa, my paternal grandfather. He loved his tape measure. He was a builder, and he measured everything twice, probably 3 times. A coin sorter. Oh, that's cool. Watch $50 grow. I remember these. You could send in a photo, and they would make a jigsaw puzzle out of it. Black and white, $1.25, or colored, $1.75. Pencils with your name. Long-haired memo man. Remember these memo pads that you could pull the paper as you would make your lists? Your split keychain set. Give your loved one the other half and you keep the other. Then when you're together, it made it one. Christmas cards to send, Christmas photos to send in your cards. Personalized mink trim gloves. They had your initial on them. A weather bird watcher. I guess that the bird would turn color depending on the amount of sunshine it was exposed to. Scotty dog or Siamese cat tea pot. Chintz china mugs. A sky ride for kids. This was from the Sunset House in Beverly Hills, $8. I hope that didn't result in many injuries. A gold mesh ring that was from Lillian Vernon. Magnifying glass. Put something under it to get a better look. Ooh. An initial sealing wax kit. Knit a sweater in a day. A pocket name printer. Oh, here's an elf. Before he became famous as Elf on the Shelf. Well, this one's green, but he was in a mistletoe ball. A pedometer. a giant Santa Claus, weatherized paperboard. It was only $1. Squiggles, the blob puzzle. From egg to chick. Oh boy, I don't know about this. What, did you put the egg in there? I hope you got the chick out once he hatched. This was $3. And the plastic dome lets you see the entire hatching process. And you could fit 2 eggs in there. Watch the miracle of birth. An eagle mail basket. 10 complete doll outfits for $2.98. Personalized kitchen labels to put on all your homemade kitchen things that we just saw. Poodle scarves, cute. Learn flower arranging, yes. A windshield cover, you could just peel it off if it snowed or got icy. A tree to hold your Christmas cards. Little white church. Blinks and blinks. Logs from newspapers. Big calendar enough to write on, big enough to write on. A personalized plaque for someone's car. This car made especially for Robert Smith, it says. And a presidential pencil case. This goes on. I'm fascinated with each and every item here. Personalized car keys. Santa's face on festive guest soaps. Make unique candles. The carry-all wooden scribble desk, and this is Kathy's. A bowler's towel. Bill's spare towel. Antique Cadillac table lighter. 35 president statues in a framed case. The Dolls of Nations. The Incessant Cookbook. They will send you the new and intriguing recipes from Lowry's California Kitchens. The Treasury of School Memories for each year, like 4th grade, and then there was a pocket to put your memories in there. Turn your old fur coat into a new jacket. A free cake decorating book. Musical jump rope. I wonder what it played. Captain and first mate slipovers. Play solitaire 150 ways. Eyeglass comfy grips. Stethoscope at half the government cost. A great big giant greeting for Christmas. Looks like maybe you could put it on your garage door. They would personalize it. A personalized cigar case. Labels for your clothing. Personalized. Purse tissue dispenser with a mirror. A crayon cart. Personalized talking animal book. More personalized Christmas cards that you could add a photo to. Tinkling bells hold your hairdo. That's what it looked like. The sterling silver grandfather's knife, and you could have all your grandchildren's names on there and their birth dates. Play guitar in 7 days or your money back. The Calico Cat calendar for 1966. I would desperately want that. Christmas lights. 35 lights change color. The world's tiniest radio. No bigger than a matchbox. A personalized doormat. Another doll fur coat set. More cards. Praying hands. Jigsaw puzzles. Self-service for dogs. A doggy diner. There's some gold-plated scissors up here, and they would personalize them. Brex bulbs. Well, no, these are mushrooms. They're from Brex Bulbs Company. You could grow your own mushrooms at home. From Boston, Massachusetts, that would come. More personalized crayons. And this was a no-slip ice mat. I wonder if those worked. Realistic miniature play foods. A porcelain heart pendant with Laura on it in that case, but they would put whatever name you wanted. Giant blocks talk back, and it looks like they had animals on them. This is funny. This bow maker, and it supposedly would turn out like that. Not in my hands. You can buy these bows at the dollar store now, but somebody would sit and make them like that? I don't know. More labels. A presidential picture. What are these? These are cake decorations, and it's like little people at a party with little records. And an early American sewing rocker. To hold your needles, it's made to look like a little rocker, like a pincushion, and then you could put your thread on the sides. Personalized curler can for the glamour girl. A whimsical garbage can replica with her name on it to keep your hair things in. More labels, photos. It's getting a little repetitive here. A miniature slide rule. But look at that. Did you know anybody that had that? If somebody had a basement bar and they would put your name on it. Have a drink with, and then in this case it's Ed and Lil Nash. Peppy the weather poodle. If it was blue, it was fair. If it was pink, uh-oh, it was going to rain. A home for your bug pets. Personalized denture holders. Stamps. Gold stamps. Blue onion tablecloth, a tie tack, another Santa decoration, more coins. What is this? A toothbrush drummer parades any name. An apple peeler, magnifying glasses, a teeny tiny camera. Springy shoes. Cushions to keep your feet warm. And this toy phone talk back. The voice on the line repeats in a delayed echo every spoken word of the child's voice. That sounds cool. We would have loved that as kids, my brother and me. Make your used batteries work again. I wonder if it worked. A lot of this stuff is from Spencer's Gifts in New Jersey at the time. More photos. Here's a freezing weather blanket to put over your car's engine under the hood. I would be careful with that. And dolls, a grandma's charm bracelet with the different grandkids' names and birth dates on them, a weather forecaster bank, paper plate holders, a ladybug flashlight. I had to stop and look at this, these gold-plated provincial switch plates. I think I bought one. This came from an old house. I still have the price on it. I didn't pay $2. I probably paid $1. The hardware is somewhere in this house. I'm going to put this up, but I think that I might have. It's very similar. My house is old. My house is at least 75 years old. I can't think of off the top of my head how old it is. but that will go well somewhere here. And put your funniest foot forward. Funny feet. They're slippers. Oh my goodness. I looked at all of it, pretty much. Here are household tips that readers wrote in. I think they would send you $5 if they would use your tip. A lot of it has to do with reusing bottles. A Women's Day book of house plants. Oh, I would love that. Oh, it was $4.95. That's expensive. And McCormick Spices. Look at the pretty bottles. We've sailed the 7 seas to bring romance to your kitchen. Oh, yes, please. Look at how beautiful they were. And there's almost like a painting with a ship in the background and a palm tree. This is Manor House coffee. I've never heard of it. I get most of my men with Manor House, really. In my business, I don't take chances. I use the sure one, McLaughlin's Manor House coffee. It's an air of mystery to that. This cushion is a $17.99 Martha Washington Museum piece. Since you can't buy it, why don't you try making it by Women's Day Needlework? And you could buy the patterns. This is an ad for Women's Day magazine on how they are helping save money on food. With their recipes and tips. It's a Midol ad. Don't be a slave to period pain. Gerber baby wear. 2-way stretch, 3-ply thread, multiple stitching training pants. That's that same baby pulling a sock off from the other ad. So they're advertising socks there. Here are all different things to cure medical maladies. Quest deodorant for girdles and other things on ladies that might need freshening up. The place to go is Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Host to the Olympics in 1968, it was coming. Play school toys, remember those mailboxes? Knox unflavored gelatin. A tissue and litter basket for your car. Here we have the Wrigley's ad. In these old magazines, Wrigley's gum always had a dessert featured advertising the gum. And they would have a little recipe. And this is homemade strawberry ice cream. And look at how beautiful this ad is. With its pink and red and white colors. 1 10-ounce package of sliced frozen strawberries, lemon juice, condensed milk, and heavy cream to whip. That's all. Let me preview that. It's always for Wrigley's gum. There's Lowry's seasoned pepper. And the recipes and continuation of our bird story. This is usually the behavior of birds is predictable. Yes, more recipes. Oh, this looks sad. This is the tragedy of bedwetting. He's crying. What could you do? You had to add the edge of your child, Pacific Research International in Portland, Oregon. What were they doing? Selling something to you, probably. I wonder what it was. It's a man's mustard, Mr. Mustard. Are you woman enough to buy it? Here's an ad for Jane Sneed samplers. Here's one of the samplers you could make. The hurrier I go, the behinder I get. Oh, nothing's changed, has it? There's that pound cake recipe. The bronze olive skin. Makeup tip continued. Here's some of the books to read to meet more fascinating people. The Little Prince, Little Women, Moby Dick, Our Town, A Farewell to Arms. The New Rival, Slimline Electric Knife. It's a pig. Genuine imported. Polish ham goes a long way to please. What was Life Hair Treatment Conditioner Lotion? I wonder what it was made of. Probably just oil. If your hair is damaged. Numbs it for teething pain. Golden Fleece Hat Scrubbers. Wright's Barbecue Smoke. Armstrong Floor. Need more deck space? Start with a floor of Armstrong Oxalon tile, and they've made an anchor in the middle. It's a nautical theme. There must be kids there because there's a little toy dock and a ship wheel, a bookcase, and the oven built right into there. Wow. And we end. It was a great cigarette ad. Wish it was in better shape. But I ultimately can cut these rugged edges off to do something with it, and I will. This is Winston. A popular cigarette with my family members when I was a kid. But we see a couple here, and they both are puffing away. And the lady has got a big dictionary out, and they're doing the crossword. She says to this guy here, what's a 7-letter word for flavor? Winston. She's got her percolator. It's probably Sunday morning. They're relaxing. Change to Winston and change for good, for a good taste every time. Winston tastes good, like a cigarette should. Thanks for watching my video.